Hello, welcome to the 30k channel. I'm your host David, and today we have a fantastic game for you. We have World Eaters and Blood Angels. So please welcome Paul and Clinton to the channel. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good morning. Very good, thank you.
Excellent. Really good to see. I was going to say to see these guys both back, but it's Clinton's first time on the channel with his World Eaters. So welcome, Clinton.
Thank you.
I hope you've had not too much of a stressful morning. We've got your army done, haven't we?
Certainly have.
It wasn't too bad. And Paul, we welcome you back. New army.
Yeah, new army this time. Gone for Blood Angels this time rather than the traditional Raven Guard.
Yeah.
Slightly different play style, but still fairly similar. So
yeah,
fingers crossed I do all right. But I'd like to first of all get my apologies out because first time playing Blood Angels in Heresy scene. So I apologise to all my 9th Legion brethren.
It'll be all right. We've got a rule book. We'll check it as we go. But also as well, it's your 4th time on the channel.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
4th time the charm.
Yeah. So they say. I think you're officially I think you're the most appeared person, other than perhaps Boris, because we did a series together. So
I think there's a couple of people.
There's a couple of vets.
A few more than me, but yeah.
Add you to the role of
honour.
Yeah, the role of honour. Exactly right. Exactly. Now, we've got a really, really interesting game for you. We are using a new mission from Book 9 today called, and I have to read it because I don't remember it, The Logic of War. And essentially there's a central objective and you score points at that objective at the end of your turn. So this gives you a really good opportunity to move, shoot, charge and assault in whatever order you want to do it in, and then end up on the objective. And it will score points depending what turn you're on. So we'll go into that in a little bit more detail. Gents, let's just have a quick talk about your deployment. Clinton, we'll start with you. You're our newcomer. You've got quite a bit on the board.
I certainly have, yes.
Compared to Paul, though, who's got 1 Rhino.
This is my Raven Guard style coming back again. My null deploy, or almost null deploy.
Holy hell. It's worth noting, though, that the mission dictates that you have all compulsory and up to 2 fast attack on the board, and everything else is held in reserve. Clinton, do you think this is going to hamper your efforts in this mission, or what do you reckon?
I'm not particularly sure, to be honest with you. I'm just trying to go with it and see what happens, and hopefully the dice gods will favour me.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a formidable reserve, haven't you? You've got Spartan, Medusa, 3 Dreadnoughts, and a Leviathan in reserve.
I have, yes. Yeah.
Sharp intake from Paul.
Say no more. Yeah, slightly worried.
But Paul, you've got some really powerful units, haven't you?
Well, I've pretty much got everything in reserve. So, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I've got some strong units. Running the Day of Revelation Rive War, so that's really helpful. However, my Damocles is now null and void.
Oh, yeah.
Because its reason there was to assist with deep striking, and as that can't come until turn 2 at the earliest.
I'm very upset about that.
Yes, I bet. So we'll have to see how that works out. But some Angel's Tears with assault cannons because dirty, and some Dawnbreakers as well. So there's quite a lot there to push the force forward and hopefully mangle some World Eaters in close combat.
The Damocles isn't completely redundant. You might get some delay in your reserves, which will help. But then also, you've got orbital bombardment as well, which will help perhaps thin the World Eaters out because there is a ton of infantry in both lists, isn't there? I'd hate to do a quick counter. Yeah. There's well over 100 infantry in this game.
Yeah, I've got 50 odd, nearly 60. So yeah, 60 models, 60 infantry models, and then the World Eaters is more, so
yeah.
It's going to be really interesting. We are playing a new mission, and there was a bit of a danger that, Clinton's first time, and we don't want to confuse everyone with a new mission, but there was a really great opportunity to get the new mission in, so we thought we'd give it a try. And thank you so much to these guys for being good sports and taking it on. So I really appreciate that. Just looking at the mission, let's have a quick talk about this. The shift from scoring the objective on the beginning of the turn has now gone to the end of the turn. So as I mentioned, it gives you that opportunity to move, shoot, charge and assault, and then consolidate onto the objective. Clinton, your army is really good at doing that, isn't it?
Yes, hopefully.
I look like there's going to be a lot of running in the first turn.
Absolutely.
Massive amounts of running. You'll see when you get to see the boards, there's just tons of infantry on the World Eater side, and nothing on the Blood Angel side.
Yeah, and we're fighting over control of this. I called it a Tiberium spike, a bit of a Command and Conquer reference there from when I was doing the board build for this video, which is available at the same time the game is released as well. It's quite an interesting structure. I've not seen this before on a board, and I've certainly not built one like it before. And I tried to create sort of a plateau going into a bit of a lowland. So it's a really interesting board, and there is a lot more cover on the table than it actually looks. So it's not until you get here and get your eye down amongst the level with the models that you can see the cover there, which would be interesting. I was going to mention something about moving around the board. Because both armies have got a ton of infantry, it's going to be really interesting to see how they navigate this. And Clinton, your Spartan, I don't think it's hampered too much. They're quite an all-terrain vehicle. They'll get through it, won't they?
Hopefully, yes. I'm quite optimistic about it, to be honest with you.
And because of the deployment, it's going to be interesting because all of those dreadnoughts. They're going to have time to take to get into the board. So I think there's going to be a lot of movement and running before they can get into combat or fire the las cannons off. And Paul, you have access. I know you haven't got it in your list, but you have access to the Incendius, which is a jump infantry dreadnought, isn't it?
Yes, it's got some mixed reviews. It is strong, but it can't deep strike on the day of revelation. Can't deep strike on turn one with the rest of the infantry because it's not infantry. So it does delay that and hampers it a bit. But having that sort of once per game, either deep striking or moving like a jump infantry makes it very strong.
Yeah.
And the Perdition Talons are strong as well. And having read some of the comments on the Facebook Blood Angels Heresy page, there's quite a lot of debate as to what goes in the fists and what to take. So there is a lot of versatility in it. Didn't take it this time. Didn't have the points, but maybe next time. Who knows?
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing that. We've only seen one on the channel so far, and it was quite an interesting option. I'm just checking the mission out. There's nothing really else to tell. There is Say the Warder, Last Man Standing, all the usual sort of stuff, but really interesting to see how this goes out. Clinton, can we have a final closing statement from you in general? I don't want to put you on the spot.
You are really. I'm just going to see how it goes. Hopefully, there's plenty of las cannons that are going to sort out that pesky jump Terminator of yours. Hopefully.
Yeah. I guess your game plan here is you've got to get up as fast as possible and get those chain axes into range.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. I don't want to be receiving any charges either, particularly. So
yeah,
that's the strength of my army. I need those charges in, and hopefully it'll pay off.
Yeah, and Paul, a lot of your stuff is deep striking. It's always a trade-off, isn't it? Deep strike in the right position, fend off the enemy for a little bit, and then take or receive a charge. I don't know.
Yeah, it is difficult to do. Playing from my Raven Guard experience, it's horrible being in that position where you're then just sort of stuck. But I like this Rise of War because it does the same thing as the Dark Furies and gives them the 5-up cover save when they arrive from deep strike. So that's good against the shooting, and the shooting attacks become pinning as well, which is going to be very strong for me if it works out. So let's hope it does.
Fingers crossed. All right. Now, at the beginning of the game, the World Eaters chose the deployment zone, so therefore deploy first, go first. Paul, are you going to seize?
No.
You're not?
No seizes. I did win the roll-off to go to...
Oh, sorry, you did?
Yes, but I wanted to go second, so...
Okay.
Not give the World Eaters player Khan's ability to give +1.
And also as well, the last turn can be quite important in some games as well, can't
Yeah, not so much in this one, I think, with the sort of... As turns go by, it's only worth 1 VP at the end of the game. But, never know. 1 VP might be all that needs to swing the game in favour. So we'll find out.
We'll find out indeed. All right, Clinton, we will go into World Eaters turn 1.
3,000 points of Blood Angels, led by a Praetor. Rite of War today is Day of Revelation. And the Praetor has the Warlord trait, Immovable Object. Blood Angels force is led by a Praetor. He has Artificer Armour, Digital Lasers, an Inferno Pistol, Iron Halo, Jump Pack, a Master-crafted Paragon Blade, and Melter Bombs. Second in command is a Chaplain, who also has Artificer Armour, a Bolt Pistol, Jump Pack, Melter Bombs, a Refractor Field, and a Power Maul. Third HQ choice is a Damocles Command Rhino with no additional upgrades. First Elite's choice for the Blood Angels is a Contemptor Quarters class Dreadnought Talon. The first dreadnought is armed with 2 dreadnought close combat weapons and 2 assault cannons in the fists. The second Quartus is armed the same manner, except it has 2 plasma blasters in the fists. Second Elite's Choice is a unit of 10 Dawnbreaker cohort. The champion is armed with a Blade of Perdition. There are 3 Fallen Star power spears and 6 Equinox power blades in the unit. They also have melter bombs. The third Elite's Choice is a unit of 10 Angel's Tears. The Arch Elim is armed with Artificer armor, 2 plasma pistols, power weapons, and the rest of the unit has assault cannons. Last Elite's Choice is 3 identical apothecaries armed with jump packs and power weapons. One of each of the apothecaries will join the assault squads, and the last one will join the Dawnbreaker squad. First of 2 troops choices is a 15-man unit assault squad. The sergeant is armed with Artificer armor and a power axe. There are 3 additional power axes in the unit. There are no further upgrades. First fast attack choice is a Legion Lightning, armed with a twin-link las cannon, 2 Kraken Penetrator heavy missiles, a battle server control, and ground tracking auguries. Last fast attack choice for the Blood Angels is a unit of Seekers. They have a strike leader armed with Artificer armor, a combi weapon, which is a melter gun, and a power fist. In the unit also is 3 combi melter guns and 3 combi plasma guns. They also have a Rhino, which is stock.
3,000 points of World Eaters, led by Kharn the Bloody, running the Rite of War Berserker Assault. Kharn's warlord trait is Savage Assault. The HQ is Kharn the Bloody, carrying a plasma pistol and Gorechild. Each apothecary will be joining the 16-man squads of tactical marines. The Elite's Choice is an apothecary detachment. 2 apothecaries, each will be joining a 17-man tactical squad. The next Elite's Choice is a Contemptor Dreadnought Talon. 1 Contemptor with a Dreadnought Chainfist with a melter gun and a twin-link las cannon. The second Contemptor, a Dreadnought Chainfist, also with a melter gun, twin-link las cannon. The third one, Dreadnought Chainfist, melter gun, and Dreadnought close combat weapon. The next Elite's Choice is a squad of Red Butchers, a 5-man squad featuring a Devoured with twin chainfists, and the rest of the Red Butchers have twin power axes. Their dedicated transport is a Spartan assault tank with armoured ceramite, quad las cannons, and a twin-linked heavy bolter. For the troops choices, there is 2 identical 16-man squads featuring a sergeant with Kadari weapons in one squad and a sergeant with a power fist in the second squad. They both have melter bombs and artificer armor. Both squads also include a Legion Vexilla. The next troops choice is a 10-man squad with a sergeant with artificer armor, chain axe, plasma pistol, and melter bombs, with 9 marines. The final troops choice is a tactical support squad, all with flamers and chain axes. The sergeant has artificer armor. Fast attack choice, a unit of 5 rampagers. The sergeant has artificer armor, twin phalanx blades. The rest of the squad has bolt pistols and chain axes with jump packs. Heavy support is a Legion Medusa, basic loadout with a Medusa siege gun. The second heavy support choice is Leviathan Siege Dreadnought with armoured ceramite, cyclonic melter lance, Leviathan Siege Drill with melter gun, phosphex discharger, and twin volkite caliber. World Eaters movement turn 1. The first tactical squad, the 16-man tactical squad, has moved full distance towards the objective, as has the second 16-man tactical squad. The 10-man tactical squad has also moved 6 inches towards up the board. The Rampager squad has moved 12 inches, a little bit further towards the objective as well. World Eaters shoot in turn 1. The whole armies ran upwards. As opposed to a few units, the average roll was 2 on the run dice, apart from the Rampager squad just there next to the 10-man tactical squad, which both scored 5. End of turn 1 for the World Eaters. Unfortunately, they didn't get where they were. We'll have to see how they fare later in the game. We'd now just have to wait for some Blood Angels to come jumping in.
Blood Angels turn 1 movement. The 4 deep striking units arrived as per the Rite of War. First off, the chaplain with a unit of assault marines. They scattered a mighty 5 inches away from the World Eaters, which was a little bit unfortunate. The Dawnbreakers landed smack bang where they wanted to with the Praetor. The Seekers moved up in the Rhino, disembarked, and are now holding that objective. The second unit of Assault Marines scattered a little bit towards the objective. And lastly, the Angels' Tears arrived and scattered back away from the World Eaters, which is unfortunate. Blood Angels turn 1 shooting phase. The Chaplain and his assault squad ran a mighty 2 inches, similar to the World Eaters, where the Dawnbreakers managed a further extra inch, so ran 3. They've moved away, not wanting to be charged in the next turn. The second assault squad threw a crack grenade and made many shots in against the World Eaters. The 15 bolt pistols caused 10 hits and 4 wounds, slaying 1, where the crack grenade failed to wound. The Angels' Tears managed to run 1 inch, just separating them out a smidge. The last bit of the shooting phase, the Seekers opened up with their Tempest bolts into the 16-man tactical squad. They had 42 hits, of which 9 wounded, and caused 3 wounds, which were not saved with Feel No Pain. The World Eaters tactical squad had to take a pinning check from the Assault Marines shooting due to the right of war on the turn they arrive, that all ranged weapons have pinning. They managed to pass on a double 1. The end of the Blood Angels turn, they scored 3 VP for holding the objective with the Seekers. So pleased with that to begin with, but unfortunately the shooting didn't do as well as I anticipated. So I'll be holding tightly on for a World Eaters charge.
World Eaters turn 2, movement phase, successful reserves roll. The Spartans move 12 inches towards the Angels' Tears. The 50-man tactical squad is heading towards the jump packs, the assault troops. The second squad is heading towards the objective. The 15-man tactical squad is heading towards the objective and the Seekers. The Rampagers are heading towards the Dawnbreakers, as are the third 10-man tactical squad. The Dreadnoughts have come onto the table too, just heading towards the second assault squad for the Blood Angels. World Eaters turn 2 shooting. The Spartan has targeted the Angels' Tears, snap shooting his quad las cannons first, then power the machine spirit of the twin-link heavy bolter, taking 1 casualty from the Angels' Tears. The tactical squad shot at the assault squad, 14 shots in total with their bolt pistols, 12 hits, 6 wounds, killing 1. The 16-man tactical squad shot the bolt pistols at the Seeker squad with their 18 shots, 16 hits, 5 wounds, killing 3. Third 10-man tactical squad shot the bolt pistols at the Dawnbreakers, failed to wound, although the sergeant with the plasma pistol managed to take out 1. The Leviathan Dreadnought fired the Phosphex discharger into the Blood Angels assault squad, hitting 12, wounding 6, killing 3. The Leviathan Dreadnought then fired his Cyclonic Melter Lance, hitting 3, killing 2. The Volkite shot and the Melter Gun shot into the squad, but failed to wound. The 2 Dreadnoughts fired their last cannons into the rear of the Rhino, causing 2 hull points and a crew shaken. The final Contemptor Dreadnought ran towards the Blood Angels assault squad with a mighty 6 roll.
After heavy damage from the World Eaters, the Seekers had to take a leadership check, but passed on a 5.
World Eaters assault phase turn 2. The tactical squad charged the Blood Angels assault squad. Overwatch was made, but was ineffective. Likewise, the second 16-man assault squad charged the Seeker squad, holding the objective. Overwatch was shot again, but was ineffective. Next up was the Rampager squad. They charged the Dawnbreakers. Overwatch was again made, but was ineffective. Third tactical squad, the 10-man squad, tried to charge the Dawnbreakers as well, but failed the charge. Combat between the World Eaters tactical squad and the Blood Angels assault squad. At the start of the combat, a challenge was issued by the World Eaters tactical squad champion and was accepted by the assault sergeant in the Blood Angels squad. Striking at initiative 4 with his twin phalanx blades, the World Eaters sergeant scored 3 hits, one of them being rending. Feel No Pain save was made by the Blood Angels sergeant. Also attacking at initiative 4 were the World Eaters with 52 attacks, 39 hits, 27 wounds made, 6 unsaved, 2 feel no pain, killing 4 Marines.
Blood Angels Assault Squad striking back, 18 attacks with normal close combat weapons. Only 4 hit, causing 2 wounds, 1 of which was unsaved, and a feel no pain failed. Moving on to the Apothecary, who struck also at Initiative 4 with his power weapon, failed to cause any damage. At Initiative 1, the Blood Angel Sergeant of the Assault Squad lashed out with his power axe, inflicting 2 wounds onto the Sergeant. 1 feel no pain was made, however, the Sergeant has taken the axe through the head. Also striking Initiative 1 were the 3 power axes, lashing out with 6 attacks, causing 3 hits, 2 wounds, both were unsaved by the feel no pain.
The second World Eaters tactical squad on the objective has piled into the Blood Angels Seeker squad, and a challenge was issued and accepted. Due to the World Eaters being bottlenecked in that particular squad, they've only managed to get out 20 attacks from 5 men, resulting in 11 wounds, 9 saved, 2 dead.
The Blood Angel Seekers struck back at Initiative 4 with 3 attacks. Unfortunately, 1 wound was caused, which was saved.
In the challenge, the World Eater Sergeant attacks with his power fist, hitting the Sergeant 3 times, wounding 3 times, wiping the Seekers out.
Also at Initiative 1, the Blood Angels Sergeant with his power fist struck back, 1 hit, 1 wound, instant killing the World Eaters Sergeant in response.
The World Eaters had to consolidate towards the nearest enemy they can harm. That was the Blood Angels Assault Squad, due to their Blood Madness rule. Combat between the Rampagers and the Dawnbreakers squad, the Blood Angels Praetor issued a challenge which was accepted by the World Eaters Rampagers Sergeant.
At Initiative 5, the Praetor lashed out with his Paragon Blade into the champion. 4 hits were made, 1 of which was Murder Strike, causing the Sergeant to fall. 3 more were passed on to the rest of the unit, 1 of which was passed with a feel no pain. At the end of Initiative 5 step, the Sergeant and 2 Rampagers died. Also Initiative 5, due to the keen rule on the Equinox Power Blades case, 4 Dawnbreakers struck in with 12 attacks, causing 7 wounds. The World Eaters Rampagers failed their feel no pains, wiping the squad. The Dawnbreakers with the Praetor consolidated 5 inches towards the objective.
At the end of turn 2, the World Eaters scored 2 victory points. After a mixed round of combat, the World Eaters are in combat where they need to be, but hopefully not too close to those Dawnbreakers.
Blood Angels turn 2 movement. Reserves wise, the Lightning came on along with the Damocles Command Rhino. The Lightning is facing off against the Spartan. The Angels Tears jumped 12 towards the objective and to bring their guns to bear. The Dawnbreakers have made a move towards the objective and the tactical squad holding said objective. The second assault squad moved away from the Dreadnoughts in an attempt to hide from their overwhelming firepower. Blood Angels shooting phase turn 2. The chaplain leading the assault squad has made a 4-inch run move towards the objective and to support the Dawnbreakers. The Angels Tears opened fire against the tactical squad holding the objective. 2 were in assault range, so fired at full ballistic skill. The rest, however, were snap shooting. 1 of the Angels Tears rolled 3 ones to hit, causing a malfunction, meaning his assault cannon can no longer work for the rest of the battle. A total of 10 hits were made, 9 of which caused normal wounds and 1 was rending. 2 World Eaters died as a result. The Dawnbreakers opened fire against the tactical squad holding the objective. The Praetor, using his Inferno pistol, managed to melt 1 of the World Eaters. However, the Dawnbreakers' crack grenades from the grenade dischargers failed to cause any damage. Primaris Lightning opened fire with 3 Kraken Turbo Penetrator missiles and the las cannons into the World Eater Spartan. Using 3 missiles, only 1 managed to hit, however, managed to pen, and due to no flare shield, managed to explode it before the las cannons were fired. 1 wound was caused to the World Eaters inside, however the armour save was passed. Blood Angels Assault Phase turn 2. Dawnbreakers declared a charge against the World Eaters holding the objective. Overwatch was ineffective, and the charge of 10 was rolled, easily getting them in. At Initiative 5, with the Praetor, issued a challenge against the World Eaters. the Apothecary, being the only one to accept, had to due to the World Eater's rules, meaning the challenge is now taking place. The Praetor, attacking with 6 attacks on the charge, struck out with his Paragon Blade, 5 hits, 4 wounds, one of which was Murderous Strike, instant death, meaning the Apothecary did not get a feel no pain. 3 more World Eaters also bit the dust. The Dawnbreakers, using the Sunrise Blade, giving them +1 initiative and Shred, attacked at initiative 6 also. With their 12 attacks, they managed to get 10 hits, and with those 10 hits, they managed to convert 8 to wounds, causing 8 dead World Eaters. At initiative 5, the 3 Dawnbreakers with the Fallen Star Power Spears advanced to try and make contact with the World Eaters, however they couldn't do so due to casualties. The Apothecary did likewise.
At initiative 4, the remaining 2 World Eaters were trying to pile in but failed.
The World Eaters need to take a morale check due to casualties. They suffered 9, which means they needed a double 1 to pass. A 6 was rolled, and the World Eaters were swept. The Dawnbreakers consolidated 5 inches. At initiative 4, the Blood Angels struck with their close combat weapons and bolt pistols. 12 attacks, 7 hits, 6 wounds, and 2 failed saves, and 2 failed or 2 dead World Eaters. The Apothecary also struck at initiative 4 with his power weapon, causing 2 hits, 2 wounds, and 1 dead World Eater as a result.
Attacking at initiative 4, the World Eaters use Exhortation of Butchery, allowing them an extra attack apiece. They managed to inflict 27 attacks, 14 hits, and wounded 9, killing 1.
At initiative 1, the power axes from the Blood Angels Assault Squad struck at the World Eaters, with 9 attacks, 5 hits, 4 wounds, and only 1 was slain. At the end of the combat, the Blood Angels won by 3, having inflicted 4 casualties to the World Eaters 1. A leadership check was rolled by the World Eaters, however on 11 they failed, and they rolled a 2 to their initiative for sweeping advance. The Blood Angels rolled a 6, causing them to be swept. The Blood Angels consolidated 1 inch. At the end of turn 2 for the Blood Angels, I think it was a pretty good turn overall. I managed to escape some World Eaters from the far end, from the Dreadnoughts, and blowing up that Spartan was fantastic, leaving those Red Butchers out in the middle of nowhere. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to consolidate onto the objective, so no extra victory points for me. However, I am still 1 point ahead, but it is at the end of turn 2 anyone's game.
World Eaters turn 3, movement phase. After 2 successful reserve rolls, the Flamer squad and the Medusa squad have finally made it into the battle. The tactical squad has more or less stayed where it is for the time being, and the 3 Contemptors have moved forward up the battlefield, as well as the Leviathan Dreadnought. World Eaters shooting turn 3. Contemptor Dreadnought has taken a shot with a las cannon at the side armour of the Rhino, close to the objective, causing the unit to be wrecked. On the left flank, the remaining Contemptors and the Leviathan Dreadnought have ran further up the battlefield. On the right hand flank, the Flame Support Squad rolled a 5 for their run move, and Khorne rolled a 6. The Legion Medusa fired upon the Blood Angels Assault Squad, killing 2. Later it opened fire with a heavy bolter, killing a further 1, also causing pinning. End of turn 3 for the World Eaters. Pretty pleased with the results of the dice rolls. The Dreadnoughts are now heading towards the central objective, just to put a little bit more pressure on the Blood Angels.
Turn 3 Blood Angels movement. The Contemptors came on with a successful reserves roll. The Assault Squad, being chased by the Dreadnought, have moved up onto the gangway, securing that objective for this turn. The Dawnbreakers had a bit of a shuffle and moved down off of the gangplank. The Angels' Tears moved round in support, whilst the Assault Squad were pinned, so cannot move. The Primaris Lightning has lined up shots against that Medusa because that last turn was painful. Turn 3 shooting phase for the Blood Angels. The Primaris Lightning opened up with 1 Kraken Turbo Penetrator missile and the Twin-Link Las Cannon. The missile struck home, causing a penetrating hit, blowing off the heavy bolter, which was unfortunate. The Las Cannon plonked another hull point off and made it snap fire, neutering it for a turn. The Damocles Command Rhino unleashed its once per game orbital bombardment, trying to hit the tactical squad that's remaining. Unfortunately, a 10-inch scatter completely missed the target, and now there's a crater in no man's land. The two Quartus have opened fire. The first with the two plasma blasters shot against the World Eater's Contemptor Dreadnought. 3 hits resulted in 1 hull point lost from a glance. The second Quartus opened up with twin assault cannons into the tactical squad. 7 hits caused 1 wound, killing 1. The assault squad had 1 bolt pistol in range of the World Eater's tactical squad, managed to hit but failed to wound. At the end of the Blood Angels' turn, the Blood Angels have secured the objective once again for turn 3, securing 2 VP, bringing their total up to 5. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to hold, but we'll see. It's been a good round, not too bad for shooting. Glad to get rid of that Medusa for one more round, one more turn.
World Eater's turn 4 movement. The Red Butchers are dawdling their way up to the Blood Angels, unfortunately because they were blasted out of their Spartan in the previous turn. The tactical support squad is slowly making its way up towards the objective, followed by Kharn, who has joined them. The Legion Medusa has just moved sideways to get a decent fire arc. The Contemptor Dreadnought is walking towards those lovely Blood Angels have just captured that objective. The 10-man tactical squad has just walked out of cover, maybe to catch that objective later turns. And my Contemptor Dreadnoughts are just making their way around the other side of the battlefield, perhaps to encounter those Contemptor Dreadnoughts, or just to squish some Blood Angels assault squads. World Eater shooting phase turn 4. The Legion Contemptor Dreadnought has opened fire with his melter guns, hitting 2 of the Blood Angels assault squads, killing them outright. World Eater's Leviathan has opened fire with his cyclonic melter lance at the Blood Angels assault squad, killing 2 normal marines and killing the apothecary. The Leviathan Dreadnought then opened fire with his Vulkite calivers, failing to wound, scoring to hit but failing to wound. Contemptor Dreadnought attempted to open fire on the Quartus Contemptor Dreadnought for the Blood Angels with his las cannon, hit but failed to damage. Second Contemptor opened fire on the same assault squad. Unfortunately, he only managed to kill 1 Space Marine with his melter gun. At the end of the shooting phase, Kharn and the Flamer support squad ran 4 inches towards the objective. World Eater assault phase. Turn 4. 2 Contemptors have assaulted the Blood Angels assault squad, killing 1 with a Hammer of Wrath attack. The Contemptor Dreadnought finally finished off 1 of the remaining assault squad members. Unfortunately, cannot make it up to the ramp to finish off the rest of them. The second Contemptor had 4 attacks, hit with 2, killed with 1.
The Blood Angels chaplain readied his melter bomb in defence, however, failed to hit even with a reroll. However, as they're fearless, the combat remains in play.
After that combat, in consolidation, the World Eater's Contemptor Dreadnought couldn't really catch up to anything else, so decided to walk towards what I consider the nearest threat, the other 2 Contemptor Dreadnoughts just behind him. So at the end of turn 4, quite happy with how the round went. The main thing was to contest that objective in the middle with my Contemptor Dreadnought.
Blood Angels turn 4 movement phase. The Primaris Lightning moved from the left flank towards the Leviathan, hoping to take it out of the game this turn. The Dawnbreakers moved up, putting that Contemptor in range of the Praetor with his melter pistol and the Dawnbreakers crack grenades. The 2 Quartus Contemptors moved up, aiming their weapons at the Leviathan. The Damocles has moved 12 inches to get his combi bolters into range. The assault squad that was pinned last turn moved back onto the rock, hoping to jump onto the objective later. The Angels' Tears have remained stationary, aiming shots against the Flamer squad. Blood Angels turn 4 shooting. The Primaris Lightning Fighter struck out with the last 2 remaining Kraken missiles into the Leviathan, causing 2 hits, 2 pens, however 1 was saved on the invulnerable save. The las cannons fired down and caused a glancing hit, leaving the Leviathan shaken for next turn. The Contemptor Quartus with 2 plasma blasters opened up into the Leviathan, hoping to strip some hull points off. The first plasma blaster got 2 1s to hit, meaning it overheated and took a hull point from it. The second plasma blaster, 2 hits, but failed to cause any damage. The second Contemptor Quartus opened up with the 2 assault cannons into the Leviathan. The first one missed entirely. Second one caused 2 hits, 1 rending, getting through the armour, penetrating hit. However, the Leviathan's invulnerable save held up once more. The Dawnbreakers opened up with their shooting. The Praetor, with his Inferno pistol, fired into the rear of the Contemptor. He hit, caused a penetrating hit, and exploded the Contemptor. The explosion result was 6 inches, adding 1 for the atomantic shielding explosion. Managed to kill 1 of the Dawnbreakers and 1 from the assault squad due to the range. The Angels' Tears, at the top end range of their assault cannons, opened up against the Flamer squad in Karn. 3 of them were in range and opened fire. Only 6 hits and wounds were caused, however they were all saved on the Artificer armour. Blood Angels Assault Phase turn 4. The combat between the Contemptor and the assault squad continues.
Contemptor Dreadnought had 3 attacks, hit with 1, killing 1 Marine.
At the end of the combat, the chaplain, using his melter bomb, failed to prime it properly and failed to hit. This ends the combat as the chaplain makes the unit fearless. End of Blood Angels turn 4. A mixed bag, unfortunately. The Primaris failed to destroy the Leviathan, which is a little bit disappointing. However, he is shaken, so snap firing, which is helpful. The destroying that Contemptor was fantastic. However, losing 2 Marines as a result was bad luck on my part. And the chaplain, once again, failing to melter bomb that Contemptor. It's painful, as I've missed out on another victory point. But at the end, I'm still 2 points ahead, so I'm happy with this.
World Eaters turn 5, movement. The Leviathan Dreadnought is creeping towards those Dawnbreakers. The Contemptor Dreadnought has just walked upon that platform, deciding on what shots to take next turn. The 10-man tactical support squad is just creeping towards the objective, as is the Legion support Flamer squad with Karn. The Legion Medusa hasn't moved, just eyeing up a few targets for the shooting phase as well. The Red Butchers, as per usual, idle in the way of the battlefield in their cataphracti armour. World Eater shooting phase turn 5. A Legion Medusa has just shot over at the assault squad. Unfortunately, it scored 3 hits, but only managed to kill 2 models. Due to being shaken, the Leviathan Dreadnought was snap shooting this turn. He fired 4 melter gun shots at the Dawnbreaker squad, killing 1. Unfortunately, his Volkites failed to hit. The Contemptor Dreadnought took a shot at the Dawnbreaker squad, unfortunately failing to wound a single model. End of the shooting phase, the Flamer squad and the Tactical Support squad ran up the ramp towards the objective. World Eaters assault phase turn 5. The Leviathan charged the Dawnbreakers with D3 Hammer of Wrath attacks. All failed to cause a wound. The Leviathan had 4 attacks and killed only 1 Dawnbreaker.
The Dawnbreakers, using their melter bombs, absolutely flunked their attacks and missed with 6 melter bombs. The Praetor managed to pen with his, however, the 4-up invulnerable save of that Leviathan held strong. As the unit is fearless, they do not need to take a morale check, as the Warlord trait immovable object grants fearless.
The Contemptor Dreadnought had 3 attacks, hit with 2 and wounded with 2.
The assault squad sergeant bit the dust from one of them. The chaplain's refractor field held strong, and he managed to attack back with 1 melter bomb. It hit this time and penetrated. The Contemptor failed its invulnerable save, but only a shaken result came about. This is very unfortunate for the chaplain. I don't think he's going to survive much longer.
Pretty amazing turn. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to clear the objective to score the victory points. Jammy on both sides. Unfortunately, the battle still goes on.
Blood Angels, turn 5, movement phase. The Primaris Lightning decided to go off the field onto ongoing reserves to have a better line of sight next turn. The 2 Quartus at the beginning of the turn declared Rage as their special rule, hoping to take out that Leviathan. The Dawnbreakers remained in combat. The Damocles Command Rhino moved up, passing its difficult terrain check to block the Leviathan off should it survive, protecting those assault marines who jumped into cover to hide from that Medusa, which has caused a lot of pain for me this game. The chaplain remains in combat, whilst the Angels' Tears have jumped up, hoping to unleash the full fury of their assault cannons into the tactical squad with the Flamers. Blood Angels, turn 5 shooting. The Angels' Tears started shooting into the World Eaters' Flamer support squad. The first Marine, with the malfunctioned assault cannon, shot his Volkite Serpenter, but failing to do any damage. 7 remaining assault cannons from the Angels' Tears, making a total of 28 shots fired in. Out of the 28 shots, there was 13 wounds, and of those 13 wounds, 2 of them were rending, and unfortunately for the World Eaters, all 5 of the Flamer support squad were wiped out. Khan took a leadership check, but managed to pass quite easily. Blood Angels, turn 5 assault phase. The 2 Contemptor Quartus charged into the rear of the Leviathan. Neither of the Hammer of Wrath did any damage. The Blood Angels Contemptors, with their 12 attacks due to Rage, managed to smash into the rear of the Leviathan. Out of those 12 attacks, 9 hit, 7 managed to pen. And the Leviathan Dreadnought only passed 2 of those saves, and out of those 5 penetrating hits, it did cause it to explode. In the explosion, one of the Dawnbreakers did, unfortunately, fail his armor save and feel no pain. The Leviathan will get to attack back at Initiative 4.
Before the Leviathan goes down, he starts swinging his claw about, hits one Dawnbreaker, square on, squashing him into the ground, span round, hit the Contemptor Dreadnought behind him, but unfortunately failed to do any damage.
At the end of the combat with the Leviathan Dreadnought, Dawnbreakers and 2 Contemptors, the damaged Contemptor Quartus managed to consolidate 1 inch and then took a further hull point from the overcharge. The undamaged Contemptor Quartus survived the overcharge and managed to consolidate 3 inches. The Dawnbreakers consolidated 1 inch.
Okay, the Contemptor Dreadnought in this combat still fighting against the Chaplain. With 3 attacks, he managed to score 2 hits, managed to score 2 wounds. Unfortunately, he's still in the fight. He managed to do the invulnerable saves to save his miserable skin.
The Blood Angels Chaplain in the assault with the Contemptor, dodging left, dodging right, unfortunately missed with his melter bomb. The ongoing combat ensues. At the end of the Blood Angels turn 5, we failed to secure the objective. However, we are still in the lead. What a round that was. That Chaplain is defying all odds and surviving against that Dreadnought, but still can't hit with a melter bomb. I'm just pleased that I've managed to survive this far, and I'm hoping that those Red Butchers fail the charge in the next turn. Otherwise, they are going to make mincemeat of those Angels' Tears.
World Eater's 6th and final turn. The Legion Contemptor has nudged the Rhino out of the way just to make it onto that platform. The 10-man tactical squad is still has moved up onto the ramp, waiting to claim that objective, hopefully. The Red Butchers on the right flank are just edging their way towards those Angels' Tears. The Medusa is poised, ready to unleash another barrage upon those pesky Angels' Tears. World Eater shooting, turn 6. The Legion Medusa has fired at those Angels' Tears, killing 4, including the Sergeant. Okay, the Legion Tactical Squad, including Khan, took their shots at the Angels' Tears with 4 hits from the Tactical Squad and 1 hit from Khan. Unfortunately, The cover saves were made. The dreadnought that is not in close combat took a shot with his las cannon at the Quartus Contemptor dreadnought, destroying it. World Eater's turn 6 assault phase. The Red Butchers have charged those Angels' Tears. They fired on Overwatch, but it was ineffective, and now they've finally made it to some sort of battle.
Entering into the fight phase, the Angels' Tears, with 12 attacks, struck out at the Red Butchers, hitting on 3s, causing 8 hits and 8 wounds, but unfortunately, all the saves were made.
The Red Butchers, with 20 attacks, attacked the Angels' Tears, wiping the unit out, consolidating 5 inches. Finally, with 3 attacks, inflicting 2 wounds, the Contemptor Dreadnought has stomped that pesky chaplain into the ground and consolidated 1 inch. That's the end of turn 6 for the World Eaters. Trying everything I can now to hold off those Blood Angels. It really has been a hectic round, but really enjoyable. More importantly, the World Eaters have scored that victory point.
Turn 6 for the Blood Angels, the final turn. The Primaris Lightning Strike Fighter came on, eyeing up that Medusa on 1 hull point. It has its twin link las cannons left. Let's see if it can do the job. The Contemptor Quartus activated Rage and approached the Contemptor that killed the chaplain, hoping for some vengeance. The remainder of the unit stayed stationary, playing towards the objective. Blood Angels turn 6 shooting phase. The lightning lashed out with its las cannons into the side armour of the Medusa, hitting and causing a penetrating hit. The cover save was taken but failed, and the Medusa became immobilised but hull pointed out. It is now a wreck. The Contemptor, with its 2 assault cannons, opened fire at the Contemptor that killed the chaplain. After 12 shots, 6 hit but failed to cause any damage. Blood Angels turn 6 assault phase. The Contemptor Quartus charged into the side of the Contemptor. Overwatch was ineffective, as was the Hammer of Wrath. The Blood Angels Contemptor Quartus, with its 6 attacks, pummeled the World Eater's Contemptor. The 6 attacks converted to 5 hits, 4 penetrates. Unfortunately, the 6 up and vulnerable could not stave off the Quartus's attacks, and managed to take revenge for the chaplain's death.
The World Eater Contemptor hit back with 3 attacks, scoring 2 hits, 2 penetrating hits, and immobilised the Contemptor Quartus.
Blood Angels summary for turn 6. Overall, I think I did pretty well. Pleased that Medusa had gone and killing that dreadnought for revenge for the chaplain, as he did phenomenally well to stay in combat and deny those points. The rest of the units decided to hang back to ensure that I could compete for last man standing. That is the end of the game. Let's move to victory points to see who won.
That is the end of Blood Angels World Eaters, and I have been on the edge of my seat this entire game. One absolutely thrilling and wild game. I'm just going to cross over to the guys now for their initial reaction. Clinton, sum it up for me.
Intense, really.
It was.
Terrified at the beginning of the game. Just kind of clawed it back towards the end, but not quick enough, really.
Paul, what do you got?
Yeah, intense is the word. Clinton's army, when I saw it on paper, when I saw it deployed, when we were doing the initial sort of army laydown, I was horrified as what I had to face. The mission really played out in my favour, but what a game. It was so close all the way through.
Yeah, my initial reaction from it is that mission from Book 9, Logic of War. The Logic of War was fantastic. There was so much exchange during the turns, and the fact that you can score on the end of the turn right at the beginning, which means you can move, shoot, charge, chop up in combat, and then consolidate onto the objective. And I thought that was just a massive shift in the game, and for me, that is super, super exciting. I loved watching these 2 amazing armies just battle it out over the Tiberium spike, if that's what we're going to call it. It was just absolutely wild. Gents, we're going to do the victory scores because there's a lot to talk about in this game, and I want to talk about quite a bit. So let's go straight into victory points. World Eaters did an admirable job. They scored 2 points in turn 2 because let's not forget it started at 3, 2, 2, 1 for the victory points, and 1 towards the end, which brought them to 4. And then the Blood Angels, what an amazing play on first turn, getting 3 points on the first turn and then 2 on turn 3. And you also got last man standing as well. So final score 5-6 to the Blood Angels and 3 to the World Eaters. So Paul, congratulations on your win. It was really hard fought.
Thank you. Yeah, like I said, so close all the way through. The World Eaters just didn't quite have the speed to secure that objective early on. And that first turn play for the Seekers, just holding that objective, I think clinched it for me.
You did a great job, though, neutering that Spartan really early on. I did not think those World Eaters were going to get into combat, but Clinton, you made for it, and they got in really well.
Yeah, towards the end of the game, by the skin of my teeth, basically. I think that's fair to say.
But I also think as well, Clinton, you did a really great job later on in the game to kind of hold that objective in the middle and then fend off the Blood Angels.
Yeah, there was a few mistakes during. I will put my hands up to that. Probably a little bit of lack of experience, but that's just the game, really.
I think you put up a formidable fight, to be fair. I mean, let's not forget, Paul is a bit of a seasoned veteran at this game, and you had him sweating from turn 1. I mean, that's no mean feat, right?
Fair enough, yeah.
Paul, what you got for me?
I think for me, man of the match, that Chaplin holding off that Contemptor, denying the World Eaters points. He was a pro. Definitely getting a name. Not thought of it yet. Any ideas? Put it on, and I'll have a look later. But I think towards the end, I kind of had that sort of gut instinct. I thought I was going to win, so I could have played out, but I don't think I would have got last man standing, and it would have potentially been a 2-point swing in that way, and it'd been a lot closer.
Yeah. Sometimes it's know when to hold back, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think you did that really well towards the end of the game. But that combat between the Contemptor and the Chaplain was absolutely thrilling. And I wish we'd done all the dice rolls for that, because there were times where you thought, oh, this Contemptor's going to squish this Chaplain, and then all of a sudden Paul comes up with some 5-up in buns, and Clinton's face was just like, oh my God, I've had enough. But I mean, it was unreal, wasn't it? So cool.
Yeah. That and the Spartan, the turn 1 Spartan, leaving the Red Butchers till turn 6. It took them 6 turns to actually get into combat. I had to keep them at bay. Blood Angels, with their speed, just kept everything out of charge range, and that really helped me.
Yeah, Clinton, I think you're a little bit unfortunate. If that Spartan had got at the centre of the board, it wouldn't have mattered what had happened to the Spartan, because they would have got in. But you did the best thing possible by separating Khan from the Butchers.
Yeah, best thing you could do, really. Says it all, really.
It does. I mean, it guaranteed Khan getting into combat later on in the game, which... he didn't get into combat, but...
He did, unfortunately, no.
But he certainly moved into the centre to contest the objective in the middle, and then the Butchers made it eventually. So not too bad, considering they're in cataphracting armour. Final word from you, Clinton. Just talk to me about your game, good and bad. What you got?
Bad was... I was going to... The dice rolls, really, to begin with. A little bit unlucky, but I think turn 2 or 3 decided to turn my way a little bit, and all in all, a really enjoyable game.
Good. You definitely had a resurgence towards the middle and the latter part of the game, I think. And, when you started pushing those dreadnoughts up, getting them into combat, the Leviathan, I thought, that's when your game really, really turned. I think that turned it from a less 2 points to a minus, almost, so you really made some points back up there. Paul, you played a good game.
Yeah, like you said at the beginning, you got to play to the objectives. If you stand around and try and destroy each other, you're just not going to get those victory points. Potentially last man standing and Warlord, but early on 3 points, 2 points, 2 points. You got to rack them up whilst you can. And fair play to you, Clinton. You had a really good game. Really unfortunate in some places.
Yeah.
And the lack of experience.
Yeah.
But you've learned from it.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
it takes these games, I think, to pick up on that, and you will become a better player for it.
Yeah.
And you look at it and go, well, I won't be doing that again, and you'll know from future. And taking forwards, I think you could be a really good player.
Thank you.
I've only played World Heaters twice, so the first time was again with my Raven Guard. So it's new army, new kind of opponent. So good play. Really close match, closely fought, and you did well. That's all I can say, really.
I think the mission in this one in particular, it rewards aggressive play to get on that objective and hold it, and I really love the missions, and we will do a lot more from book 9 as much as you can. A lot of the missions are geared towards sort of defending and attacking fortifications. So all of those rules that units have had in the last couple of years, with the Wrecker special rule, which, let's face it, none of us really take a bastion or a building to entrench ourselves in. Those Wrecker rules now are starting to come into play, where we're obviously at the Siege of Terror, and we need those Wrecker weapons to attack the fortress, the walls of the Emperor's Palace. I'm struggling here. That's it for me. I had a really, really thrilling game. None of these gents are on social media, so if you have any direct questions for them, please direct them my way, and I'll try and get an answer for you out of these gents here. However, I know Paul is a member of a club. Would you like to tell us all about that?
Yeah, I'm a member of the Surrey Spartans, based at Coulsdon, just off the M25, M23. Loads of people playing Heresy there, loads of people playing other games as well. If you're down that way, hit us up. At the moment, due to COVID, we're not open, but we have a Facebook page. Check it out.
Great stuff. And Clinton, you're at a club or not at the moment?
Not at the moment, no.
That's fine.
Kind of in between Derby and Sheffield and Manchester, that sort of way. So if anybody wants to contact me, have a game, please do.
Amen. And don't forget, hopefully we can entice these two back. I'm sure Paul will be keen, and I hope Clinton will be too.
Yep.
And if you want to face either of their armies, message me and I'll get you set up with either World Eaters Raven Guard, maybe Raven Guard for Paul, or his Blood Angels, and we'll try and set a game up with you with them as well. Gents, thank you so much for today. I've really enjoyed today's game. It's been fantastic.
Good, solid game.
Thank you, David.
My pleasure. All right, we will see you in the next one.